looking to shop Jalen Ramsey, their outstanding corner. Now there are reports that they're open to perhaps hearing offers on Tyreek Hill. What's going on with the fish, man?
Yeah, well, Tyreek Hill, they're tired of all the kids running around the facility, I would imagine. Didn't he have a boatload of children or something?
He had four kids in 1 year. 4 different baby mamas.
Oh, wow. I was wondering. I was like, wow, this doesn't make they have triplets and then had another? No. Okay.
No.
I see.
4. By 4. Prodigious.
Yeah.
Prolific.
Prolific. He is unbelievably. I talked to a defensive coordinator, Mike, that said, you see him on tape and you're like, yeah, he's really, really fast. And he goes, you see him and you're making a plan in your head and you're like, yeah, if we do this and we do that, like we can take him out. And he goes, and then you see him in pads, the football helmet and shoulder pads. And I had a defensive coordinator, very prominent defense coordinator in the National Football League goes, I can tell you who it was. Doesn't matter. It was Wink Martindale, who was the Giants coordinator, Giants for the Baltimore Ravens for a lot of years. And he goes, that is the fastest player in helmets and shoulder pads that I have ever seen in my entire life. He's not human. And so he is that fast. But, when the talent no longer outweighs some of the issues that you have. And part of this to me is the Dolphins actually looking at themselves. And maybe it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Maybe it's the success that the Detroit Lions have had. They've looked at themselves critically and go, you know what? That's great if you want to win regular season games. It's great, but it's not what wins in the playoffs. And until we learn how to dominate lines of scrimmage and just absolutely beat the snot out of people, we ain't winning by throwing it over people's heads. And so I think there's something to that. There will always be teams that think they're one receiver away from winning a championship. And you know what you call those teams, Mike? Stupid. Well, because no team is one wide receiver away from winning anything.
And you got to look at it, right? I mean, Kansas City hasn't exactly, felt the departure of Tyreek Hill. Miami, what have they really won with him? And you saw how, really he was a luxury that you couldn't use when Tua was out and you were going with Tyler Huntley and Skylar Thompson. I mean, all of you had Tyreek Hill on your fantasy football team. What was he doing for you when Tua was out? Not much. So, I could see why the Dolphins might say, hey, we tried it, but it really hasn't paid off and maybe we should go in a different direction.
Yeah. I mean, who would have ever guessed that starting meetings at 24 after the hour wasn't going to win them? If that doesn't win you a championship, like the Coach Capri Pants had this great plan. If we start our meetings 24 after the hour because we haven't won a championship or we haven't been worth a squirt of piss, we haven't won a playoff game, whatever it is in 24 years, it has something to do with 24s. I really wasn't paying attention because I thought it was so insanely stupid that I didn't deserve my attention. But if that's not going to win you a championship, if starting meetings at 24 after the hour is not winning you a championship, I'm not sure what you can do, Mike. I really am not. But maybe it is about, I don't know, playing physical, nasty, snot-nosed football. Maybe that's the key.
Are you going to acknowledge where you got Coach Capri Pants from?
No, that's entirely from you.
Thank you.
I don't have to because you're my intellectual property.
Right. But time ago, you gave me my props, and now you don't have to do that anymore. You take it as your own.
I did that because, Mike, that's how much I love you. I wanted to give you a little bit of credit, right?
Thank you.
A little bit of credit for all the things I steal from you, which are many.
Yep.
And I don't give you a lot of credit. Because normally I just kind of say it out loud to myself and then I take it. I follow the protocol. right? Here's the protocol from stealing your stuff, stealing your takes and making them my intellectual property. Yep. So the first time I mention it, usually to my dear wife, Lisa, I'll say, you know what Mike said? It was really quite interesting. He said, blah, 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 blah. And then I will say to whoever, hey, some guy I know says this, and I think it's quite interesting. And then the third time, it's just mine. You know what I've always said? I've always said this, and I think it's incredibly interesting.
Yes, I'm a big believer in this.
I'm a big believer. I've always have been.
Coach Capri Pants. Mike McDaniel definitely starts the season with a definitely warm seat there in Miami. But we shall see what happens. But yet another day, plenty of stuff to talk about. T-minus 1 week to go until the NFL draft.
It's going to be great. Can't wait. All right, for everybody involved in the Stinkin Truth podcast, for Mike, I am Mark. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Make sure you subscribe. We appreciate you guys. We'll be back with you next week and getting ready for that draft coming up on Thursday, a week from today. Mike, good to talk to you, buddy. I'll talk to you in a little bit.